Pressure doesn't break you. It reveals you. Think about the last time everything came down at once. The bills, the deadline, the silence from someone you needed. You felt your chest tighten. You told yourself you'd handle it tomorrow. But here's the question that should keep you up tonight. Why do two people facing the exact same storm walk away as two completely different men? One shattered, one forged into iron. One ancient water carrier already cracked this code. And what he discovered will make you see your worst days differently forever. It's the middle of the night in Athens. A man walks through the dark streets carrying buckets of water on a wooden pole across his shoulders. His name is Cleanthes. His hands are not the hands of a scholar. They are thick, scarred, and calloused. The hands of a boxer, because that is what he was. A fighter, a man who made his living taking and throwing punches in the ring. Now watch him closely. He's pouring water for gardens. He's grinding grain in the black hours when the city sleeps. And the people of Athens have a name for him. They call him the well-water man. They say it as an insult. They mock him, because here is a grown man, broad-shouldered and strong, doing the lowest, most invisible labor that exists. And for what? For this. When the sun rises, Cleanthes walks, exhausted, aching, having barely slept, straight to the school of Zeno, the founder of Stoic philosophy. He cannot afford the tuition. He has no inheritance. He has no name, so he buys his education with sweat. He works all night so he can learn all day. And he does it not for a week, not for a season, for years. But here is what almost no one realizes about this man. The authorities of Athens grew suspicious. How was this penniless laborer surviving? How was a man with no visible income feeding himself and studying at the same time? They thought he must be a thief, so they dragged him in front of the court and demanded he explain where his money came from. And this is where the story turns. Cleanthes did not beg. He did not make excuses. He called in two witnesses. The first was the gardener whose plot he watered every night. The second was the woman whose grain he ground in the dark. They stood before the court and told the truth, that this man worked harder than anyone in Athens, that he earned every crumb honestly through his own exhausted body. The judges were stunned. They were so moved by the sheer relentless discipline of this man that they offered him a gift of money from the city treasury, a reward, a way out of the suffering. And Cleanthes refused it. Why would a starving man refuse free money? Why would someone in pain turn down the very relief he had been bleeding for? Most people would have grabbed it with both hands. But Cleanthes understood something about pressure that the rest of Athens did not. And it's the same thing you've never been told. Let me bring this to your life for a moment. You have felt the weight Cleanthes felt, maybe not buckets of water, but the morning your alarm went off and your whole body said no. The workout you skipped because you were tired. The hard conversation you kept postponing. The email you stared at but never sent. We live in a world engineered to remove every ounce of friction from your life. One tap and the food arrives. One swipe and the boredom disappears. One pill and the discomfort fades. And we have been sold a beautiful lie. The lie is that the good life is the frictionless life. That if you could just remove all the pressure, all the struggle, all the resistance, then you would finally be happy. Then you would finally be strong. But think about what actually happens to anything that is protected from all stress. A muscle that is never used withers. A bridge that bears no load is never tested and never trusted. A mind that is never challenged stays soft and afraid. Cleanthes refused the money because he understood the deepest secret of human strength. The pressure was not the obstacle to his philosophy. The pressure was the philosophy. The buckets were not in the way of his growth. The buckets were the growth. And this is where it gets strange, because once you understand this, you realize most people are running in exactly the wrong direction. They spend their entire lives trying to escape the very thing that would have made them unbreakable. They flee from the gym. They flee from the cold. They flee from the difficult truth and the uncomfortable silence. And they cannot understand why. With all their comfort, they feel so weak and so anxious and so fragile. So what did Cleanthes actually know? What was the system hidden inside those long, brutal nights? Because make no mistake, there was a system. A 3-step code he lived out with his own body, long before he ever wrote it down. Here is the first step. Cleanthes did not see the water buckets as punishment. He saw them as training. This is the foundation, and it changes everything. In your mind right now, there is a category called bad things that happened to me. The traffic, the criticism, the cold morning, the failure. Cleanthes took that entire category and renamed it. He called it resistance I can grow against. The boxer in him already knew this truth in his bones. You do not get stronger by avoiding the heavy bag. You get stronger by hitting it again and again until your hands turn to stone. He simply applied the logic of the body to the logic of the soul. The second step is harder. Cleanthes embraced the load voluntarily. Listen carefully, because this is the line that separates the strong from the merely busy. Suffering that is forced on you can break you, but suffering you choose to walk into transforms you. When he refused the city's gift of money, he was making a choice. He was saying, I will keep my burden because my burden is making me into something. The moment you stop running from the hard thing, the moment you turn around and walk toward it on purpose, the pressure stops being your enemy and becomes your blacksmith. And here is the third step, the one almost everyone misses. Cleanthes was consistent past the point where it made sense to others. Anyone can carry water for one night. Anyone can be disciplined for one good day. But Cleanthes did it for years, in the dark, with no audience, when no one was clapping and everyone was mocking. He understood that strength is not built in the dramatic moment. It is built in the unglamorous repetition that no one ever sees. The night nobody knows about, the rep nobody counts. Now, 23 centuries later, sit with how eerie this is. Modern psychology has a term for what Cleanthes was doing to himself. They call it hormesis, the principle that a controlled dose of stress makes a living system stronger. Lift a heavy weight, and you tear the muscle, and it rebuilds thicker. Expose the body to cold, and it adapts and becomes more resilient. And researchers studying trauma and recovery found something they did not expect. Many people who go through genuine adversity do not just bounce back to where they were. They come back stronger than before. They call it post-traumatic growth. New strength, new depth, new clarity, born directly out of the struggle, which means the ancient water carrier was right. Adversity faced correctly does not break you. It rebuilds you from the inside out. But notice those two words, faced correctly, because the same pressure that builds one person destroys another. The storm doesn't decide, you do. So let's answer the question I asked you at the very beginning. Why do two men in the same storm become two different men? Now you know. It is not the size of the pressure, it is the meaning you assign to it. One man sees the weight and says, why me? This is unfair, this is breaking me. The other sees the same weight and says, this is my training. I chose to carry it, and I will carry it longer than anyone expects. Same storm, opposite men. So here is what you can do tonight, not someday, tonight. Find one small, hard thing you have been avoiding and walk straight into it on purpose. Take the cold shower, send the message you've been afraid to send, do the 10 push-ups you don't feel like doing. It must be small enough that you actually do it and hard enough that part of you resists. And as you do it, say one sentence in your mind. This is my water bucket. That's it. You are taking the thing you'd normally flee and you are renaming it as training. Do this once tonight, then again tomorrow. And watch what happens to the way you see your own life. Because Cleanthes, the mocked well-water man, the broke ex-boxer, went on to lead the entire Stoic school after Zeno died. The laborer became the master, not in spite of the buckets, because of them. So remember this the next time life presses down on you. Pressure isn't here to break you. It's here to show you what you're made of and to forge you into something you couldn't become any other way. The weight you're carrying right now might be the very thing building the man you're trying to become. If this hits something true in you, stay with us and subscribe, because the next mind we walk through changed history with a single idea, and you do not want to miss it.